Tonight on The Bachelorette, 5 shocking exits, and we are here to break down this new promo clip. Hey guys, and welcome back to another Shared News from Home. We've got all the details you need to know about The Bachelorette, but before we do that, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so you never miss out on any future videos. As always, I'm your host, Zachary Reality, and I am joined today by Fiona Zaring. Fiona, we have this new promo clip that looks absolutely explosive, and I need to get your thoughts on it. So let's take a look at this first clip.
To win Katie's heart, some guys will say anything.
Hunter comes off as phony.
Do you feel like you're in love with Katie? I don't think that I'm in a place right now. I'm falling in love. Absolutely.
Okay, well, we have to talk about Hunter. I think it's safe to say he's kind of getting the villain edit since Thomas left. Last week, Trey even described Hunter as the new Thomas, and in this clip, it looks like Hunter may be lying about his feelings, if he's really in love with Katie or if he is not. Aaron is also calling Hunter phony in this extended promo. Fiona, what do you think about this? Do you think Hunter is here for the right reasons? Is this like an editing situation?
You know, I don't know. I have a lot of mixed feelings on Hunter because I feel like he was kind of in the background. He wasn't someone I was paying a lot of attention to. And then all of a sudden, last week, it was like, clearly he was getting more screen time. They were sort of giving, in my opinion, a little bit of a villain edit to him. I think it's really interesting because this season, week after week after week, sort of with Aaron spearheading it, the guys all of a sudden kind of decide, you know what, so-and-so, whoever it may be, is next. They're not here for the right reasons. We can't trust that guy. He's got to be out. And so far, it kind of has worked for them. And I do think that they have pushed out, you know, Thomas, glad to see him go, some very obvious villains. But Hunter doesn't feel as obvious to me. And I do think Katie actually tweeted last week basically saying to give Hunter the benefit of the doubt during the episode as he was kind of starting to get a little bit of a villain edit. So I don't know. Right now, I'm trying to keep Hunter with a clean slate. I don't love this clip where he's going back and forth on the wishy-washiness about being in love or not being in love. So gonna reserve judgment officially until tonight. But I'm nervous about Hunter. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, because, you know, we saw that scene with Hunter showing Katie his kids and those photo albums, and Hunter seems like such a sweet guy. You know, he's a dad. He kind of has that edit too, but then, like, these guys are pitting him as the villain because he was trying to steal extra time at the rose ceremony, and I think he's just trying to steal extra time because he is a father. So if he doesn't want to be with Katie, he needs to figure that out sooner rather than later. You bring up an interesting point about Aaron, though, because Aaron is the one that is spearheading this every single week. I think it's like him and Trey. They always just pick someone in the house. First it was Carl, then it was Thomas. Now it's Hunter. Like, they're just trying to pick someone and pick them as the villain. And it's just like Aaron and Trey need to go right to Bachelor in Paradise because they are the ones that are here for the wrong reasons. They are the true villains. They are the guys that are causing so much drama in the house. So I want everyone to kind of leave Hunter alone. But this edit is not looking good for him. The music that they put on the background of Hunter just makes him seem like not the best guy.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I mean, this is definitely looking like Hunter is either going to be the villain by the end of tonight's episode or home by the end of tonight's episode. I mean, something is definitely brewing. And I believe we have some RuPaul's Drag Race former winners, former contestants coming in to lead for one of the group dates, a bit of a roast. And based on, you know, what we're seeing, it seems like all of the guys are definitely going to be targeting Hunter. And we have seen these roasts in previous seasons. I mean, a roast is a tricky situation to begin with. And when everyone has kind of a united guy that they're going to be taking shots at, it can get very uncomfortable. It can lead to a lot of drama, and it obviously it can make things uncomfortable, it can lead to a lot of drama, and it obviously sends a pretty strong message to whoever the lead of the season is that something is going on. So it's gonna be a tricky, kind of like make or break night for Hunter, I feel like.
Oh, for sure. You know, one part of me like loves a roast, but I think roast only can really work out if you're like roasting your friends. When it's like other guys that you're like living with, competing for the same girl, feelings are involved, jealousy's involved, insecurities are like all out there. So I actually kind of feel bad for Hunter if he's going to get really roasted tonight. I hope they go for like Aaron or Trey or maybe even James, like some of the other guys that have been involved in some drama, and they don't all team up on Hunter. I remember last season, a lot of the guys teamed up on Dale. With Claire Crawley, but I think it was just because they were jealous that Dale and Claire had the strongest connection. But we'll have to see because there is a lot more to unpack in this promo. So let's take a look at another clip.
Tonight, no one's ready for 5
The whole house kind of went into shock.
surprise
I knew saying goodbye would be hard.
exits
Just didn't expect it to be this hard.
and who they are.
Wow, 5 guys are going to be going home tonight. Now, there are only 12 guys left in the show. So 5, I cannot do the math, Fiona. We are definitely not, experts in math. We're experts in reality TV. But that's probably about like 40%. So it's going to be a huge shakeup after tonight's episode. But before we talk about who may or may not be going home, let's talk a little bit about Blake. Because we know he was late to the game. He just arrived last week. He was welcomed into the house by the rest of the guys, kind of. Katie gave him a one-on-one date after the date, and she even said that she sees the potential of Blake being the one at the end of this. In this promo, we did see Blake going up to Katie's balcony in the extended promo. Do we think that Blake may have gotten another one-on-one date, or do we think that he's just like showing up uninterrupted, unannounced at Katie's hotel room?
So, Zachary, I have to say my gut instinct here was that Blake was, looking for some extra time, thought, I'm going to throw out the rules. I'm grabbing my boombox. I'm going to Katie's room. Like, I'm just going to give this a whirl, try to be romantic, maybe score some extra time. But what confuses me is we also have that shot of the two of them kissing in front of that burning something. I don't know what's going on. And that to me gave more one-on-one vibes, like another date. So it's all very confusing when you try to unpack this timeline because as we all know, Blake literally just got a one-on-one. So for Katie to turn around and give him another one immediately feels, I don't know, very bold, just like something you wouldn't want to do when you're trying to figure out if there are any other guys that you need to decide if there's a connection with or decide if it's time to send somebody else home. So I don't know what to even make of this. Logically, I can't imagine she said, you know what, I'm just going to go for another Blake date right off the bat. They had this, burning torch moment, and then he showed up at her balcony with the boombox for even more time. That feels just like too good to be true, right? So I'm curious if maybe somehow he goes to her balcony, holds up the boombox. It's so moving that then she decides to give him another date. Because unless this is some sort of strange group date that's happening at night, it's this moment right here that's kind of throwing me for a loop. What about you, Zachary?
I think that Blake feels the pressure to make up for lost time. I mean, he came in on week 4. There was already established connections. And I think that he kind of wanted to go to her balcony and show up. I don't necessarily think he got another one-on-one date. I think that he's more bold because he was on another season, so he knows that he can kind of play with the rules. But it makes me wonder, do we think it's a good idea for contestants to just show up at the lead's hotel room unannounced? Because we've seen this throughout the seasons. We've seen this with Corinne on Nick Viall's season. It's happened plenty of times. And I don't know if it's like a good thing, if it's like, oh, I'm making in this extra effort, I'm trying to impress you, or if it's just like too pushy, this wasn't your time. Either way, the cameras are rolling and it adds extra drama. I mean, what do you think about, Blake showing up unannounced if that's what he did? Is that like a respect of her privacy, or is that just like a cute gesture?
No, I'm totally with you. And I have to say, I think it's going to come down to the lead every time. Like for some seasons, depending on the, lead's personality, I think it's going to be, a violation of privacy. Like, this is my downtime. You had your time earlier. You're not respecting the process. It's going to be off-putting. But we've seen it happen the polar opposite way, like you mentioned, where it's like, wow, look at this person going out of their way to show me how much they care and taking it upon themselves to break the rules to make this gesture. I'm not exactly sure which camp Katie would land in. I'm leaning towards the second. I really do think that she would feel that the spontaneous effort, made to get that extra moment, to get that extra time would be, romantic, would be touching. At the end of the day, him going and holding that boombox up doesn't guarantee him any more than a quick moment between the two of them, right? If she didn't want to hang out, she does have the power to be like, oh my God, this is so sweet, you're so funny, good night. So I do think that the boombox gesture was kind of a really great in between, right? He didn't show up and knock on her door and barge in with a bunch of cameras. So how this whole moment plays out, I think is going to be really crazy to see, but I also think he already was on her mind. It's potentially walking away with him at the end of this. If this works in his favor, he will be a solidified front runner, in my opinion. No question about it. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, he does end up wearing this hoodie, or she ends up wearing his hoodie. Is this the makeout session that we saw in the promo? Is she going to invite him up to her room? Not entirely sure, but it's clear that Katie very much likes Blake, and we are definitely getting down to the nitty-gritty because, as I mentioned, 5 guys are going to be going home, which means that after tonight, there will be 7 guys left, which is just probably about a week before hometowns. So let's take a look at this next clip and see if we can dissect who is going home tonight.
All I'm looking for is to find my person, and it's very possible that my person just left.
We just can't say. The Bachelorette.
Oh, and no, it looks like someone that Katie really, really liked may or may not have ended up leaving the show. I mean, 5 guys going home. Obviously, someone might be leaving on their own. I don't know if she's sending 5 guys home at a rose ceremony, but let's try and dissect and predict which 5 guys might be going home. Fiona, I'm going to read to you the 12 guys left, and then you can let me know where your head is at. We have Greg, we have Blake, we have Andrew S., we have Justin, we have Aaron, Hunter, James, Trey, Mike, Michael A., Brendan, and of course, Connor the Cat. I mean, who do you think is at the bottom of the totem pole initially, Fiona?
You know, gut instinct, I just kind of feel like James and Trey and maybe even Aaron haven't made the connection with her, right, that some of the other guys on that list have. They've definitely gotten some screen time, but it's all been sort of guys in the house drama related. We know Aaron has been very vocal, as we mentioned, about who he doesn't think is there for the right reasons, but he hasn't been as vocal about having a super strong connection with Katie. So I don't know. I think Aaron could be in hot water. James, to me, of course, he came in with that box, you know, the big guy in the box moment. But since then, he hasn't made that big of a splash. He's one that I kind of keep forgetting about. So I do feel like this is that pivotal week, right? If you haven't gotten a lot of screen time, if you haven't made a big splash, you might get cut. Same with Trey. I mean, he and Katie had obviously a great moment. He did get that group date rose, but since then, again, I'm not really feeling like a massive spark between them. So those 3 kind of connection-wise, I'm a little nervous about. Based on that mid-season promo they released, I do have a very strong feeling that Michael A., based on, you know, missing his son and struggling to be apart from him, will send himself home at some point. I'm just not sold that it's going to be this week. So I don't know, Zachary. I'm sort of struggling for my other 2. I kind of feel like those 3 are going to be out. But those other 2 spots, I really don't know. Who do you think is going to be going home?
Well, I think we're forgetting about Brendan. I think we're forgetting about him because, you know, he does not get any airtime. A lot of us forgot he was on the show. So I think it's safe to say that Brendan's time might come to an end. We might see him getting some screen time for once. But I think somebody big is going home. I mean, Katie is breaking down, saying that she thinks someone she really liked just left the show. So it's going to be a big name going home tonight. And I don't know if it's going to be Greg or Andrew or Michael A., but it's going to be a big name drop. Hunter could possibly be in the list of people that might be going home. You know, there is going to be a lot of drama surrounding Hunter tonight. So I think it's possible that he might go home, but something crazy is happening because someone's going home and Katie is not too happy about it. So you guys are going to have to let us know in the comments who you think is going home tonight because we are dropping from 12 to 7. So it's going to be a big deal. And that is everything we have to share with you guys today. So let us know in the comments what you think. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss out on any more Bachelorette updates. As always, I'm your host, Zachary Reality, and I was joined today by the lovely Fiona Zaring. Our social media handles are on the screen right now, so be sure to give us a follow and say hello. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye!